Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope all of you are doing well. This is going to be a collection update. This is pretty much the stuff that I got for Christmas, the Blu-rays and 4Ks, and then the DVDs and the Blu-ray that I picked up selling the digital codes from the stuff I got from Christmas. A pretty decent stack of titles. I have actually reviewed at least two 4K titles that I had gotten that are going to be in this update. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to start off with the DVDs. So the first one here is All Dogs Go to Heaven, one of my all-time favorite animated movies. Such a sad film, and if you look up the history of this movie and what happened to one of the co-stars, it really, in better terms, as my sister likes to say, it hits you in the feels. It's truly, truly sad. And when you learn more about the recording, especially with Burt Reynolds in a specific scene, you realize how much truth and sadness is in his voice. And yeah, I feel like this movie was way ahead of its time, if I'm gonna be honest. But I remember growing up watching this numerous times. Dom DeLuise, Burt Reynolds, yeah, such a great cast. I'm surprised this movie has yet to get like some proper edition, whether that's Blu-ray or even a 4K. I know a lot of animated movies look amazing on 4K. Hopefully down the road that can happen with this, but who knows. But yeah, I feel like it's a little overdue for a better release, but nonetheless, it's such a great film. Next is Corky Romano, one of my favorite comedies. Stars Chris Kattan. He is a pet veterinarian who basically has to go undercover as an FBI agent to clear his father's name for a crime he didn't commit. His father is played by Peter Falk, and then he deals, with his brothers always giving him a hard time, which are actually played by Chris Penn and Peter Berg. And then there's a few other familiar faces like Vanessa Shaw, Fred Ward. I mean, this movie is really entertaining. He, when he's in the field with all the other agents, because he's not technically an FBI agent and he has to play pretend, everything that he does that kind of ends up messing up actually ends up having a positive outcome. So it's really, really funny that those type of things start to happen. And of course, Vanessa Shaw is like the love interest, but this movie I feel like is so underrated. It's not one that gets talked about, and Will Ferrell became one of the bigger names in the SNL cast when it was him, Chris Kattan, Molly Shannon, and them. Chris Kattan, did go on to do his own thing, but really the only standalone movie I could think of that he did was this. Of course, he'd have a small little role in Monkey Bone, but yeah, I feel like because this was his only film and it being so entertaining and having a great cast, I feel like it ends up, being very underrated and kind of gets swept under the rug. Not a lot of people have seen this movie, but I highly recommend you guys give it a watch. It's pretty entertaining. Next is a Rob Schneider classic, and that is The Animal. I'm surprised The Animal has not gotten a Blu-ray release yet, considering like his film Big Stan has a Blu-ray release, and then The Chosen One, which is an awful movie. Those have Blu-rays, but everything else like The Hot Chick, the Deuce Bigelow films, and this don't have Blu-rays. Why is that? I'm not sure. But with Kino kind of releasing a lot of movies that I would never thought would see the light of day, I am crossing my fingers and hoping that there is hope that some of his movies do get released from Kino. I feel like Kino would be the perfect company to do that. The Animal's a fun one. He gets into an accident. Basically, his body parts are replaced with animal parts, and just so much ridiculousness is the best term to put. Goes on. There are some really funny moments in here, like the dolphin scene where he goes to save a child. That scene, I always laugh. And then there's a few familiar faces. There's a nice little cameo. I'm not gonna say for those who have not seen this, but yeah, definitely give it a watch. I think you guys will be entertained. And then the last two I picked up, of course, are Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, and Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo. Now, when I did an unboxing for this and the other titles that I just showed, I had mentioned that I thought there was a special edition release of this. Um, there is, but it's pretty much the same as this release. There's nothing like I thought there was an unrated release or a 2 disc release, but I guess I was just wrong because I looked on eBay and I didn't see anything. So I guess it's like one of those Mandela effects. But yeah, I feel like European Gigolo is a lot better than Male Gigolo. I feel like there's a lot more that goes on. My only minor complaint with this is the love interest. They, you know, I'm not going to give away too much. I don't want to spoil anything, but that's my only gripe. If you know, you know. But for those who don't, go check it out. They're entertaining. They're weird. They got a great cast. Other than Rob Schneider, you also get what is his name? I'm hoping his name's in the back. What does it say? Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin's in it, and he kind of helps Deuce out, and yeah, he's pretty hilarious. It's unfortunate that he didn't do a whole lot afterwards. I think he did a pretty good majority of movies, but then his career kind of went, out there. He ended up not getting movie roles as often, and was trying to get back on his feet and try to do stand up. Like Undercover Brother is one of his good ones. I love that movie. And then the only Blu-ray I got when I bought those DVDs was Super Troopers 2, which is the only one I needed to complete the 2-movie collection. As you guys know, one of the goals for this year is to try to complete all the titles, the collections and franchises that I have, or TV shows, volume sets. I'm just trying to complete everything that I can, and then upgrade as well. And then there's a lot coming out this year that I'd like to add. But yeah, Super Troopers 2 is fun. I really enjoyed this movie. I know it did not do too well in theaters, which is on. What did it go to theaters, or did it go straight to home video? I don't know, but I know it didn't do too well. I think a lot of people were a little disappointed. For me, I wasn't. I was very entertained, especially that scene where they're watching hockey. The two actors, you've seen them in everything, and they're talking with their Canadian accent. They're talking about Danny DeVito playing the Penguin and stuff like that. It's hilarious. And then the next 2 Blu-rays I got, these were the 2 that I got for Christmas. First one being Cocaine Bear. I'm excited to watch this one. I think I had saw a clip of this or scene, and yeah, this movie's gonna be a trip. This is one of those movies like where you can just sit and be like, did they really make this? But I've heard nothing but great things, so I'm very, very, very excited to watch this one. And then I ended up getting Abigail. Abigail, I'm very excited. Another one I've seen a few scenes here and there. This movie looks gruesome. It's another one that did pretty well in theaters. It's gotten a lot of great reviews, and surprisingly, there's been some pretty good films out last year, and of course, there's been some that weren't all that great, but this one I'm excited. I think it was last year, or it could have been like the end of 2023. I could be wrong on that, but nonetheless, very happy with that, and I cannot wait to watch that one. Now we're going to get into the 4Ks, since I've got a lot. So the next, can't speak, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the next one here is Deadpool and Wolverine. This was the only one I needed to complete the trilogy, and as of right now, those are the only 3, I guess you could say, Marvel films I have in my collection. I really enjoyed this one. I went to the theaters to see it, and very entertaining. Like, everything you wanted, you got. And we finally were able to get Channing Tatum in this. Sorry if I spoil it. I'm sure by now everyone has seen it. I'm sure everyone has seen the spoilers on TikTok. I mean, this movie was really hard to avoid spoilers. But yeah, it was nice for all the cameos. It was great to see all the different variants. Yeah, I'm very, very excited, and I really hope moving forward we can get something a lot better with the MCU, especially with Deadpool. I would like to see more. I believe this is pretty much it. I don't think it is. I think he'll be back. but it'd be more of like, keeping it quiet type of thing. But yeah, I can't wait to revisit this one. I do plan to watch all three and then do a back-to-back set of reviews for you guys. Next is Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, saw this one in theaters and had a good time with it. Now, I know a lot of people have been disappointed with the sequel, and a lot has to do with the fact that they feel like the story was, a little clustered. I can get that, but I feel like that shouldn't be a reason why to hate the movie. There was a little bit of CGI, nothing too bad. Most of it was practical effects, which I like. And yeah, it was entertaining. This was one of those ones where I felt like it was done right. Maybe there's a little, little minor complaint, but everything else I think was done right. I mean, hell, it made over $400 million. So I'm hoping that we do get one more to complete this trilogy. I know I've seen a lot of rant videos of people, well, why is this made and all this? Like, come on now. Like, this is 10 times better than other things I have seen. To be honest, this is a lot better than Dumb and Dumber 2. This is how you do a sequel, and Michael Keaton was willing to return under certain conditions, and, getting pretty much everybody back was really great. And I thought the story was good, I don't think it was all that bad that a lot of people tended to make it. Yes, I do feel like the story and the plot was clustered. I feel like certain characters didn't really necessarily have to be in it. I do like all the little nods to the first film. And yeah, I do feel like it's a great follow-up. I also feel like it's its own in some way as well. It felt more to me like a live action adaptation to the animated series, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, very happy to finally have that, and glad it got made. The next one here was definitely one I wanted for a very long time. A lot of times I try to hold off on a lot of 4K titles, for them to go down in price, because 4K titles are just getting way too expensive. And it's weird because at one point I remember when Walmart had a little section with nothing but 4Ks, and they were really priced well. Some were like 15, 20, 10, like, and then now here they are going up in price. Which is crazy. But this one, I'm so glad. I cannot wait to watch this one. I have yet to watch any comparison videos on, but that is Forrest Gump. Such a great drama. I am not very big into the drama genre. Excuse me, I have mentioned that before. To me, it has to have a really great story, and this has a great story. And the more I kept watching this, anytime it was on TV, I'm starting to realize that Jenny is not as bad as a lot of people make her to be. Like, oh, she's the villain. Look at, when you watch the film, look how she was treated. That's one of the reasons why she had a hard time accepting Forrest, and, him going out his way for her, because she had the way she was treated, she had a hard time accepting that somebody actually cared and loved for her. And it really, the more you think about it, it goes deep. And then when you look back at how her childhood was, you understand it a little bit better on why she did, kind of treated Forrest the way he, how she treated him, and him showing that he's not going anywhere. He's always going to be here for her. He knows, like, she was basically hurt, and don't want to say damaged, but like, she was dealing with a lot of emotional distress, PTSD type of stuff, and for Forrest to be there to prove, rather than just saying it, showing her in his actions, even though she kept pushing him back, just showed eventually at the end, of course. And of course she got sick, but yeah, I think you have a better understanding once you watch it so many times. But yeah, very happy to finally have that in the collection. Next is Trading Places. Love this movie. Now, I did a review for it, and I did, there was another, can't speak. There was a subscriber who had pointed out that I made a mistake, that the film takes place in Philadelphia, not New York. I do apologize for that. So if you guys watch my review for that, just know that it's not New York, it's Philadelphia. Um, One of my all-time favorites. I'm trying to get more of Eddie Murphy's movies. I still want to pick up the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy on 4K, as well as Coming to America. Those are still on my list, and The Golden Child. And then I want to pick up Metro on DVD. So there's a few movies I still need to get with Eddie Murphy. But yeah, Trading Places, such a classic. Next is True Lies, one of my all-time favorite Arnold films. This and I would say Eraser, like my all-time two favorites. And you can't go wrong with Jamie Lee Curtis, especially that dancing scene. Mwah. You know, if you know, you know. But you know, it's a really great action film. It's got a really great story. I think the chemistry between Arnold and Jamie Lee are fantastic. Wish they would have done more. You know, it's been quite a while since I've seen it, so I don't remember a whole lot, but I do remember the action scenes being pretty great, the story being pretty good, and you know, just the chemistry between the two being really good. So yeah, very excited to check this one out. I still need to pick up the rest of the James Cameron titles that got a 4K release, except for Avatar, because I do not care for those movies. As of right now, I have Titanic and True Lies. I still gotta get like Terminator and stuff like that, so that's definitely on my list. Next is Backdraft. Love this movie. Probably want to, again, you know, not big into the drama genre, but this is definitely on my top 5 favorites. Great cast. I mean, we got Robert De Niro, Kurt Russell. We've got William Baldwin, directed by Ron Howard. I want to also say the late great Donald Sutherland is in this as well. Do not quote me on that. And I think there's a few other familiar faces in this as well. Yeah, such a good movie. Can't wait to watch this one. There is a sequel, Backdraft 2, which actually brings back William Baldwin's character. And if you ever seen the movie Across the Universe, the actor, I believe his name is Joe Anderson, he plays Max. He actually plays the son of Kurt Russell's character. So it's a really, from what I've seen, it's a really good tie-in. So I do want to eventually pick that up and, you know, watch them like back to back, but I'll end up watching this way before that even happens. But yeah, very happy to have that in the collection. Next is Field of Dreams. This is so underrated. I never hear anybody talk about this movie. It's got the late great James Earl Jones. It's got the late great Ray Liotta. Oh man, just thinking back and realizing they're no longer with us. Their performance in this is great. You know, he basically starts to hear this voice that says, you know, the iconic, excuse me, the iconic line, "If you build it, they will come." And basically, he ends up building a baseball field in some cornfields. And next thing you know, these ghosts of former baseball players end up showing up. So yeah, it's a really good film. I want to say Richard Dreyfuss isn't. No, not Richard Dreyfuss. The actor who plays Poindexter in Revenge of the Nerds is in this. I don't know his name. I believe he's like the lawyer or a friend of theirs in some way. For some odd reason, I get him and Richard Dreyfuss confused because they almost look alike. If you watch Revenge of the Nerds, the actor who plays Poindexter, and then watch Jaws, there's almost a similarity there, and it's two different actors. It's not the same actor, so, but yeah, such a good movie. I'm glad to have that. Next is Last Action Hero. I did do a review for this. This is such a good movie. Another Arnold favorite of mine. If you guys have not seen this, check this movie out. It's just so fun, so goofy, because it basically spoofs itself in some way, and it's got a lot of great cameos. You'd be surprised on who actually shows up in this movie, and just like the little nods to things, especially, you know, Arnold, and Arnold kind of playing off, you know, kind of making fun of himself in some way, is pretty entertaining. So, but I do feel like they could have done better with this transfer. I do state that in my review, so if you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. Next is The Shining. Such a great Stanley Kubrick film. I still want to pick up more of what he has. I still need to get A Clockwork Orange. I do have Full Metal Jacket. That's another one I like of his. This film is fantastic. The performance from everybody is outstanding. The late great Shelley Duvall, man, she's truly, truly missed. Her performance is great in this. Jack Nicholson, way over the top, but in such a creepy and good way. His performance, man, cannot be outdone. That's for sure. At least that's my opinion. Can't wait to check this one out on 4K. I will state I'm not really too big of a fan of Doctor Sleep. I hate to say it. I know that movie gets a lot of praise, but just not my cup of tea. Excuse me. Next is Violent Night. I really enjoyed this one. I saw this one at first originally came out and had a good time with it. It was way better than I had expected. Now there is rumors that we're getting a sequel. That would be cool. I'd be down for it. To be honest, I'd be down for like a trilogy or a 4-film collection because it is Santa Claus. You can do so much. Hell, you can even incorporate the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy into this if you really, really wanted to. It was cool to see John Leguizamo especially play a villain. I know he's played a villain a few times. I like John Leguizamo. I know he's one of those actors kind of in the same boat as Nicolas Cage where he stopped doing a lot of like mainstream stuff and does a lot of like straight to home video stuff, so it's great to see him still acting. But I feel like there's gonna be that one movie that he's gonna end up making a really big comeback. But of course I like his older stuff, you know, the Super Mario Brothers, Spawn, The Pest. How come The Pest doesn't have a Blu-ray release? But yeah, Violent Night was fantastic. Highly recommend for those who have not seen it to check it out. It's Santa Claus, John Wick type of film. Maybe not as good as John Wick, but still entertaining, and it's pretty. There are some scenes that are pretty gruesome. And then last is The Crow, 4K Steelbook. This is the Bill Skarsgård version. Now I know a lot of people are upset at this movie, for one being made, two, not changing the names and still continuing to have Eric and Shelley be the main characters. But to be honest with you guys, from what I've seen, I think it's decent. I haven't watched this movie yet. I do plan to real soon. But for me, I'm always going to be a fan of this movie as well as the other films that have come out. Just to me, the mythology is what draws me in. And the one thing I like is that you can make so many Crow films because it's going to be somebody who deals with a similar tragedy in some way. Like, I want to see a female Crow film, you know, because the Crow can not just be male, it can be female. I mean, it could even be a teenager if they really wanted to go there. You know, it's somebody who, you know, had a love that's so strong, and then when something tragic happens, you know, it brings them back to make what was wrong right. And I love that mythology. So yeah, The Crow you can expand on. You can have multiple movies. Now I think a lot of people were hoping that if they had changed the name, it really wouldn't be that bad. And to be honest, even if their name is Eric and Shelley, it's still not that bad. You know, I think they try to expand on the lore, and they do try to make it different with Shelley and Eric in some way and try to give it a more modern feel. So yeah, I think people at this point are just trying to complain. I think Bill Skarsgård's performance, from what I've seen, especially in the trailer, I think is pretty good. I just feel like a lot of people are just gonna find something to complain about. It's not as bad as people think it's, you know, make it to be. At least in my opinion, I don't think. But yeah, I'm very excited to watch that one and very happy. So yeah, there you have it. That is my collection update. You know, the titles I got for Christmas, as well as some of the titles that I picked up using selling the digital codes. So if you've seen any of these movies, please let me know what your thoughts are down in the description below. Let me take a sip of water since my voice is kind of getting raspy here. Sorry about that. But But yeah, if you've seen any of them, let me know what your thoughts are. Don't forget, can't speak. I hate when I try to speak and it's like my mind is trying to get ahead of me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. It's much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel for more content. If you guys want to take the time out, check out my eBay store. It's much appreciated. I'm trying to set a goal so I can make enough funds and do a giveaway for you guys, because I do want to do a giveaway. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm Film Talk with Mikey. Till next time, we will talk films. You guys have a good one. Take care, and I will see you next time.